Back here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. And Baldy mentioned Brandon Jacobs not playing today. And there are the other three starters who are out due to injury. And of course, with a football squad, you can only have so many players, so you can't really have wholesale changes. But we'll see. That's Maurice Hicks back deep, and John Carney will kick off for the Giants as the Vikings have won the toss. Vikings lost to the Falcons here last week with a chance to wrap up the division and didn't, and the crowd was not as loud as it has been in the past. And they have been urged to come out full throat today. We'll see that too. And the opening kickoff fielded by Hicks at the 5. And Maurice Hicks with a big return against the team with the worst kickoff coverage in the National Football League, the New York Giants. A 37-yard return. So here is Tavares Jackson. In the last 3 games has thrown 7 touchdown passes. And the Vikings offense, the 3rd best rushing attack in the league. And we'll see if Bernard Berrien, the wide receiver, injured an ankle, see if it limits him today, Bo.
Well, Bernard Berrien is their deep threat. Adrian Peterson trying to become the first Minnesota Viking to ever win a rushing title in their history.
And a first down, and the handoff to Adrian Peterson. And Peterson gets maybe a yard on first down. Now the Giants, again without 2 starters. Jay Alford will open up at nose tackle, and Kevin Dockery will replace Aaron Ross at cornerback.
Well, this is a Giants team that has allowed a lot of big runs over the last month of the season. They're trying to stop that, and they've got their hands full today. They know Adrian Peterson is the key to this Viking attack.
And Peterson, who did not play last year, was inactive in the Vikings win against the Giants. 2nd down and 9. And again, Peterson just falls down without being hit and will lose a few yards on the play. So once again, let's take a look at the Giant defense. Cofield out, and Alford starting at nose tackle, and Dockery, who has started several games, replacing Ross at corner.
Kind of an amazing year for the Giants defense. Without Michael Strahan retiring, Ozzy Umenora being hurt in training camp, yet they're still able to get a pass rush and get to the quarterback.
And a chance for the pass rush here on 3rd down and 13. Back at the 40 after the loss of 4. Tavares Jackson with time, and his pass, and nowhere near Bernard Berrien, and nearly picked off by Corey Webster, closest to the ball. So not an auspicious start for the Viking offense, and they'll punt.
Well, Tavares Jackson has been excellent the last 10 quarters of play. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, but an opportunity on that 3rd down to complete it. Miscommunication between him and Berrien.
R.W. McQuarters goes back deep. Chris Kluwe will kick for the Vikings. McQuarters from the 11. And he trips and falls without being touched, and will be down at about the 20-yard line. So Eli Manning into the playoffs for the 4th straight year, and the only other quarterback is his brother during that span. And the rest of the New York Giant offense, the 2nd highest scoring team in the NFL, over 28 a game. And Baldy can't say enough about that offensive line.
But the offensive line is really the key to this entire team, because they have been extremely consistent week in, week out. Without Plexico Burress, no Brandon Jacobs today, those guys still pick up the lunch pail and go to work wherever that work is.
And they have an outstanding runner in Derek Ward, coming off an amazing 215-yard game. First pass is a slant to Dominic Hickson, makes a good catch and picks up 6. Let's take a look now at the Viking defense, and as you mentioned, terrific run defense. Once again, though, without the defensive tackle Pat Williams out with a shoulder injury.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of guys that will try to replace him. Fred Evans is starting today. But this is a group that has overcome injuries throughout the season. They take a great deal of pride in shutting down the other team's rushing attack.
2nd down and 4. Manning to throw, and out of the backfield is Madison Hitchcock. And the Giant fullback gets enough yardage for a first down out to the 33.
Well, this is what we're up against here today. I mean, there is a 1,288-yard difference between how many yards the Giants have run for this year and how many yards the Vikings have surrendered against the run. So there is as great a disparity as there is in the league of two teams on the field. We'll see which one can establish what they want to do first.
7-yard gain and a first down to the 33. Manning hands off to Ward. Ward gets good yardage and will pick up another Giant first down at the 43, tackled by Darren Sharper after a pickup of 10.
Well, the offensive line likes to get to work early in these games, and they get to work by running. This is a designed cutback. You can see the left guard on that play. Richie Cyber takes a step outside, comes back inside, gets him going to the right, and then cuts back to the left.
Derek Ward came into the game needing 52 yards for a 1,000-yard season. The Giants would have 2, including Brandon Jacobs. And a first down at the 43, play action, and they go out on the flat to Hedgecock, his second catch of this game, out to the 47. Lieber on the stop and a pickup of 4.
And one of the things the Vikings believe they can do today is to press these receivers. That's Cedric Griffin on Dominic Hickson, and on the other side, Antoine Winfield on Amani Toomer. They believe without Plexico Burress in their lineup that there's no deep threat, there's no go-to guy. So if they press the receivers, they believe it'll take an extra second for Eli to get an open receiver, an extra second for that line to get to the quarterback.
But Eli really is impressed with Hickson, can do some things he said that Burress cannot do. It is a second down and 6 at the 47, and there is Manning getting the rush, and down he goes back at the 42-yard line, and Ben Lieber picking up the sack for Minnesota, and a loss of 5.
This is exactly what the Vikings thought. With pressing these receivers out here, it would take them an extra second to get open. That extra second allows the Viking pass rush to get to Eli Manning. There it is. I mean, there's Hickson right there fighting off Cedric Griffin. Chad Greenway outside on him. And this is all part of their game plan, and something I think the Giants are going to have to face as they get ready for the postseason with the Plexico Burress.
Vikings 4th in the league in sacks with 1 game to go. 3rd down and 11. And the Vikings will call a timeout, the first timeout of the game. No score. The Giants now with a 3rd down and 11. Vikings calling a timeout. No question this crowd is louder this week than they were last week. Benny Sapp is a 5th defensive back. Steve Smith is in the game, number 12 at wide receiver. And Eli Manning getting time, and he is going deep to Hickson. And thrown out of bounds, incomplete. 4th down, and the Giants will have to punt.
Well, Hickson is their deep ball threat, and they haven't really had a great deal of success getting it down there, but Hickson got behind Cedric Griffin right there, and Eli just overthrew him.
First incompletion thrown by Eli Manning after hitting his first 3. So Jeff Fiegels, playing in his 336 consecutive games, will be kicking to Bernard Berrien. Less than 5 minutes elapsed here in the first quarter. Viking victory clinches the NFC North title. And Berrien will let it bounce. Bounces inside the 10, and it is down inside the 5-yard line by Kevin Dockery. No score between the Giants and the Vikings, and the Vikings will start from the 4-yard line. Jeff Fiegels with the 54-yard punt, showing why he's headed to the Pro Bowl for the 2nd time in his career. Ageless one. First down, Tavares Jackson. The 2nd possession of the game for Minnesota offensively. Jackson in the end zone, and he dumps it off to Fahu Tahi, incomplete. 2nd down, as we send it down to Laura Oakman.
Thank you, Dick. Well, everyone in Minnesota has their eye on this game and the other one on the Bears-Texans. I can tell you everyone inside the Metrodome is watching one score, and that is this one. That's because Brad Childers deciding this week not to show the Bears score today. He said he wants his players focused on the one game they can control, and while every player told me they thought it was a good call, I can tell you a couple guys asked me to flash a secret sign if I heard any update, but only if it was good news. That was all they wanted.
Okay, Laura, thank you. 2nd down and 10. And there's movement on the left side of the Giant line.
Encroachment, defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Terry McCauley, the referee, and Fred Robbins, who played 4 years with the Minnesota Vikings. A 5-yard penalty will move the ball up to the 9.
Fred Robbins played a lot of games right here in this Metrodome. Earlier this year, he was playing with 2 broken hands. I mean, defensive tackles, that is their toolbox right there. And playing without those, really struggled.
Second down and 5, and Peterson is hit at the line, and ball comes loose. And it was Chase Blackburn who made the tackle, and a 1-yard gain for Adrian Peterson, who struggled last week in the fumble department. Actually, for running backs, has fumbled more times than anyone in the National Football League.
He's fumbled 8 times. He's lost 4 of them, and nobody is harder on himself than himself about that condition. He comes out on 3rd downs. They replace him with Chester Taylor, who is a better receiver.
3rd down and 4. We saw the Bears jump in front of the Texans 6-0. Tavares Jackson's pass, and it is caught by Visante Shanko, coming off a career game. And the former Giant, having a career year, gets 6 yards and a first down for Minnesota.
Well, Tavares Jackson and Visante Shanko are quickly becoming a good combination. And when Brad Childress decided to sign Visante Shanko last year to a free agent contract, a very expensive contract, people scratched their head. They said this is a guy that was just a blocker. He wasn't a receiver, yet 7 touchdown catches this year. And now out wide, looking for a good matchup here. Look for Shanko to go against Kevin Dockery in this play.
First down on the 16. Yeah, he's showing he can catch the ball as well, Baldy. Handoff is to Peterson. And Peterson drives the ball out to the 20-yard line. Blackburn and Alford making the play. All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Brad Childress telling his team, look, the Bears are going to go win their game, and the Giants are going to try to win this one, as Peterson carries and doesn't get much. 3 yards on the play for Peterson, and Antonio Pierce. You wonder how long he's going to play in this game, because he's been kind of an Iron Man for the Giants at middle linebacker this year.
Well, he plays all the snaps, and when he's in there, he doesn't come out of the games. And he's just a player, though. He loves it. He wants to shut down and be a big part of shutting down Adrian Peterson today. He's not looking to rest. He said, we'll get plenty of rest next week during our bye. I want to finish the season strong and shut down this great runner.
Kenny Phillips and Terrell Thomas, 6 defensive backs on 3rd down and 3 for Minnesota. On the 23, and there you see the Giants dropping back, Butler in particular, and being chased is Tavares Jackson, and throws cross field, and it's caught by Bobby Wade, and Wade, with the reception in the middle of the field, gets a first down, shy of the 40-yard line, 16 yards, another first down.
Well, here's the empty part of the field that we showed before the snap. That's where Bobby Wade is going to end up. But this is the decision-making that Tavares has done over the last 11 quarters now. Gets outside the pocket, has his head up, very calm, surveying the field and finding the open player.
Bobby Wade leading the Vikings receivers. And a first down at the 39 of Minnesota. Jackson gets hit, and he lofts it in the air, and Pierce was closest to it as the Giants put the rush on Tavares Jackson, particularly the linebacker Chase Blackburn.
Well, the Giants are doing a lot before the snap to try to confuse Tavares Jackson. They bring Chase Blackburn that time. He should have been picked up by one of the backs, either Tahi or Peterson. They both missed him. Tavares Jackson should have had time to step into this throw.
The Giants have 40 sacks of their own this year. 2nd down and 10. Now Chester Taylor in the backfield gets the inside handoff from Jackson, and he kind of sloughs off one would-be tackler and picks up 4 yards on the play.
The Giants' defensive line have not gotten great pressure on the quarterback just by themselves. They're rotating here. They'll bring some of their pass rushers in this situation now, but they've had to blitz and pressure in order to get to the quarterback more than they would like.
3rd down and 6, and once again Thomas, the rookie, and Phillips, also a first-year player, into the game. Vikings on their own 43. Remember, they started at the 4-yard line. Here's Tavares Jackson, and no one picks up Michael Johnson, and down he goes. They're going to mark it at the 30-yard line. Coming in untouched was the free safety, Michael Johnson.
Well, Johnson comes because Adrian Peterson takes Justin Tuck. So Johnson comes free. They're doing a lot at the line of scrimmage to confuse the protection schemes. And again, Johnson coming untouched, Steve Hutchinson blocking air there. And so they're beating their protection with scheme right now on a couple of these plays.
Loss of 13 yards, so Chris Kluwe back to kick. R.W. McQuarters again goes back deep. At least the Vikings got out of real trouble inside their 5. Here is McQuarters, and he is going to be down. Terrific coverage by the Vikings. Back in Minneapolis, no score, and one of the Giants out with injury is Brandon Jacobs, and his 15 touchdowns, and an amazing year for him.
And this is a power running football team, and he's the best power running football player in this league. And he gives this team the identity that they really need in order to make a run for a second straight Super Bowl.
One wide receiver, the handoff is to Derek Ward, and Ward trying to jump outside. Gets good yardage as he crosses the 20-yard line. Griffin makes the stop after a pickup of 6.
You know, Derek Ward came off that game Sunday night where he ran for 215 yards. 150 of it came basically in the fourth quarter and overtime, and so much of those yards he gets is because of what Brandon Jacobs does early in the game. Just basically running through linebackers and defensive linemen and wearing those guys down, setting the runs up that Derek Ward had late in the game last week.
51-yard run, the first play of the game-winning drive in overtime. A big boost to the Giants, and he gets the call again, and Ward, diving forward, picks up a yard or 2 as we wind down to 4 minutes to go in the first quarter of a scoreless game.
Going to the Pro Bowl is Chris Snee here. He's going to pull on this play. It's going to be what they call a power O. It's their favorite play. And he is a great guy in space. He can run. He can run with linebackers in this league. He sets the edge so many times coming around to the left side or pulling to the right, and the back gets to follow him.
Can we say Pro Bowl again for this gentleman? In his first appearance in Hawaii. 3rd down and 2. Crowd is vocal here as Eli Manning out of the shotgun, and his pass incomplete. Hickson, the intended receiver, and the coverage by Cedric Griffin. It'll be 4th down. Victory by the Vikings makes that game moot as Fiegels punting to Bobby Wade. Fair catch at the 32-yard line.
Right there is Steve Spagnuolo. He's their defensive coordinator of the Giants, and a guy as responsible for anybody on the New York Giants team for the success they had last year in shutting down the Patriots, the highest scoring team in the history of football in that Super Bowl, and then carrying it over into this year where there has been no complacency on this defense.
Steve Spagnuolo, of course, in a change of a rule during this week. The Giants are off before they are in the playoffs, could entertain coaching offers. First down at the 33 for the Vikings. Adrian Peterson, the running back, gets the handoff and hit immediately by Chase Blackburn after a minimal gain.
Well, so far they have bottled up Adrian Peterson in this game, and you can see Adrian Peterson over 3,000 yards in rushing in his first 2 seasons in pretty elite company with those other 4 players. 3 of those guys right now off the charts to win in the Hall of Fame.
What about the fumbling situation? Is it on your mind all week long? How does it go for him?
Well, I think right now he's got to be thinking about it. He's been carrying a football with him around at practice this week. I don't expect to see it today.
And a pass to Jeff Dugan, the tight end, short of the first down.
With 4 points of pressure and carrying the football. Tiki Barber fixed his problems in New York years ago. Adrian Peterson needs to do the same thing.
And Peterson holding on with both hands, loses the ball, and a fumble at the 39-yard line. So after explaining the mechanics of trying to hold on to a football, Danny Clark, the strong side linebacker, appeared to knock it away from Adrian Peterson.
Once you start fumbling, every opposition thinks they can rip it out. It's there for your taking. The Giants certainly looked at all 8 fumbles that Adrian Peterson has had this season. And they were looking at him saying, everybody else can do it, we can do it.
I'll tell you, it really stuck with him because it was almost 72 hours after the game was over last week that he really didn't come out of the funk of fumbling as much as he did in last week's game and, in fact, recent games. Still no official call.
There's a wrestling match going on down there for the ball.
And it's recovered by the Vikings. So who is exhaling more right now than Adrian Peterson?
Well, now it's on his mind. Again, the ball is away from him. You can see Danny Clark literally rips it out. That's called ripping the cord, getting the hand inside of that elbow and pulling it out. And what's odd is Adrian Peterson has the strongest grip of any football player in this league, yet right now hasn't learned the mechanics of how to hang on to the football.
Jim Kleinsaucer happened to be in the right spot to recover it for the Vikings. So a first down at the Minnesota 44. And under extreme pressure, the pass is caught by Chester Taylor. And Taylor, as Jackson was going down, made the catch in the crowd and gets a first down to the 36-yard line of the Giants. James Butler, the strong safety, and a 19-yard gain.
But it's just going to be a screen. You're going to invite the rush up the field, get the alignment out front. Now in traffic, nice block by Steve Hutchinson. Great block to take care of a defensive lineman to free Chester Taylor to take that ball down the field for the first down.
So the 19-yard gain, first down, nearing a minute to go in the first quarter. And the handoff is to Chester Taylor, bursts up the middle, and Taylor, what a reliable back he is, gets 9 yards on the play to the delight of Viking fans. So the Bears are winning and the Vikings scoreless. The handoff to Taylor, and not this time as the Giants converge, led by Jay Alford, and a 2-yard loss on the play with a half a minute remaining in the first quarter.
You just got to wonder, looking at the Giants defense playing very stout against the run to this point, if there was going to be any kind of a letdown after clinching the #1 seed on Sunday night in a very emotional overtime win against Carolina, how would they come back this week? They adjusted the practice schedule, did not practice on Christmas Day, but they did practice on their day off, so they got all their work in. But I expect this team, after they come off a Super Bowl win, where there hasn't been a complacency problem this year due to the coaching style of Tom Coughlin, to play like this.
Brad Childress trying to gain his first winning season, and this is third year as head coach of the Vikings. Tom Coughlin won his 100th win as a head coach back in October. And looking for a repeat Super Bowl. 3rd down and 4 as we start the second quarter. Dick Stockton, Brian Baldinger, and Laura Oakman. And here is Tavares Jackson, and the pass is knocked down by Justin Tuck. So a 4th down play coming up, and the big 19-yard pass and run by Chester Taylor will set up a field goal try with Ryan Longwell coming on.
Interesting on that drive. From the time that Adrian Peterson fumbled the ball, he did not go back in the game. They stayed with Chester Taylor throughout the rest of that series.
A 48-yard attempt by Longwell, who is 27 of 32 for the year. And Ryan Longwell gives the Vikings a 3-0 lead with a 48-yard field goal. Back here at the Metrodome, 8 seconds elapsed in the second quarter. There's the scoring drive. Longwell's 48-yard field goal. And the play to Chester Taylor getting 19 yards. So the Vikings take the lead. The Giants, by the way, had been 8-0 coming into the game when they had scored first. They didn't hear, and Ahmad Bradshaw back, and Longwell will be kicking off. Taylor, by the way, 29 of the 55 yards in the game for the Vikings. So he has been the workhorse. Peterson has been on the bench, might have been shaken up. Bradshaw on the return, and he dives forward. The Vikings lead the Giants 3-0, and the Giants will start from the 25. They have passed 6 times, run 3, and there's been 1 sack of Eli Manning. They'll give this one to Derek Ward, trying to go outside and tripped up after a gain of about 4 yards. Let's take a look at the first quarter numbers, Baldy.
Well, as you would expect, not a lot of rushing yards from the Giants against the #1 rushing defense in football, something we'll probably track all day long. But one thing Eli Manning wanted to do today was start fast and execute. They haven't really been able to stay on the field long enough to get any kind of a rhythm going.
And there's an injured Giant on the far sideline. So we're going to take a possible break here. Giants lose their starting tight end and the backup Michael Matthews on the sideline.
Well, here he is. I mean, here's the right leg getting stepped on by Sean O'Hara, and you can't prevent those kind of things from happening. It's part of the game of football.
2nd down and 6 from the 28. Darcy Johnson, who replaces him, goes in motion, and the handoff to Derek Ward, and gets nothing there, bringing up 3rd down. Not too much accomplished by either offense thus far in the game, but we will take a look at some of the Giant leaders right now. That's what Eli Manning has done. Derek Ward starting at running back with Brandon Jacobs out of there, and Madison Hedgecock, of all people, the fullback, leads the team with 2 catches. And by the way, Adam Coates, playing in his first NFL game, would be a second tight end for the Giants. 3rd down and 7. And not easy to hear when this crowd is loud. Eli Manning's pass, Amani Toomer, is knocked out of bounds, incomplete, and 4th down coming up. And it was Cedric Griffin defending on the play, out of bounds. He did get credit for the completed pass of 4 yards, but the Giants will send in Fiegels to kick.
Well, Eli's got that clock in his head against a very good pass rushing team. Jared Allen out there, one of the good pass rushers in the league. He just wanted to get the ball out of his hands quickly. He did, but to the underneath receiver, not enough for the 1st down.
Jeff Fiegels, who has a 54-yard punt earlier in this game, gets off another beauty. And Bernard Berrien inside the 15 gets good acceleration, but the Giants with good coverage. Chase Blackburn back there. And there you see, leaving the field, Michael Matthews.
I'm going to update that right now for you, Dick. They're taking him off the card, as you said. They're going to go have him undergo x-rays on his right ankle.
All right, Laura, thank you. Adrian Peterson carries. And Brian Keel, rookie from Brigham Young, who will get some playing time today. Game to 3.
Talking about left ankles, Adrian Peterson on that last fumble a couple series ago also turned his left ankle. He got that taped up on the sideline. An expensive piece of merchandise, and Adrian Peterson there got to take care of it. But one of the things that everybody says that sees this kid run, if he can stay healthy, we could be watching one of the greatest of all time.
And he's been bothered by that ankle. 2nd down and 7. Short drop by Tavares Jackson, and the pass caught by Berrien, and he'll be knocked back. Forward progress will leave him a little more than a yard shy of the 1st down, with Kenny Phillips, the #1 pick out of Miami, right on there. Berrien, the former Chicago Bear, and of course, as you follow the updates, the Bears are leading the Houston Texans, and the Minnesota Vikings in control of their own destiny and trying to wrap up their first playoff berth since 2004, and they can do it with a victory today. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Penalty flag is down, and here is Peterson breaking one, and they won't catch him. 10th ankle and all. Touchdown. And a flag back at the 40. 67-yard run by Adrian Peterson. That'll put a smile on his face.
Offside, defense, number 93. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Well, he's going to pop this right over the right guard. Here, Jay Alford is going to jump all sides. He's going to be in the neutral zone. That's the flag. But he's going to pop it right between his fullback right there, Jim Kleinsasser, and this has affected the Giants' defense now for the last month. Backs that have popped the big one. It started with Westbrook in Philly and D'Angelo Williams last week, and it's something they got to clean up and take care of, getting ready for the playoffs.
Ryan Longwell's extra point is good, and the Vikings lead 10-0. And a dramatic scoring drive by the Vikings, 76 yards in 3 plays. And Adrian Peterson going 67 yards. And Brian Baldinger just got through saying that Well, you said he could be one of the greatest, and that's true, but at any point can break one, either going outside or up the middle, which he did on that play for the score. So now Ryan Longwell will be kicking off, and Ahmad Bradshaw back deep for the Giants. Here is Bradshaw from 2 yards in the end zone. On the return, and Bradshaw breaks one to the outside, and Bradshaw still going, gets into Viking territory, and he is knocked out of bounds. So Bradshaw with a great return of 58 yards.
Well, you got to match explosive plays. So Adrian Peterson goes 67 yards for a touchdown. Pretty good wall in front of him. Makes a high miss there. Adam Coates gets a good block, and now this is just the explosive speed of Ahmad Bradshaw. A little stiff arm on the end to finish that run, but he gets the Giants back in good field position here, ready to get a drive started.
Benny Sapp made the play. Might have been worse for the Vikings. So the Giants in Minnesota territory at the 43-yard line, trailing 10-0. And the handoff is to Derek Ward, and Ward with a good run and should have a first down. So all of a sudden, spectacular plays. Bradshaw's return. What about Adrian Peterson here?
Well, they get some movement at the line of scrimmage here, but this is what fears. This is the fear of every defensive player and coordinator in the league, is this guy can break one at any time. Now he's looking up at the scoreboard here to see if anybody is in distance of catching him, but people don't catch Adrian Peterson in this league when he gets that kind of a head of steam.
First down for the Giants on the Viking 33. And here's Ward. Derek Ward. Flag goes down, and Ward is into the end zone. And let's see what the penalty is all about. Terry McCauley. It would be a 33-yard touchdown run pending the call. And it doesn't look good for the Giants, judging by Tom Coughlin's reaction.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding offense, number 87. That penalty is declined. Illegal formation. Offense, number 61, was lined up in an eligible position. Did not re-report on this down. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, the Adam Coates, 61. Well, here's the play by Dominic Hickson against Cedric Griffin. They said it was a hold on the outside. That's where they missed Plexico Burress on plays just like that. His size that can do that. And here's Adam Coates. He's the tight end. When you're an offensive lineman playing tight end, you have to report to the umpire every play that you're eligible. He didn't report, and that's why the flag was there.
And Baldy, Adam Coates in his first NFL game in 2 years, he was inactive for 31 games. Here is the short slant to Derek Ward, and Ward is tackled. And so all of a sudden, after a very quiet game with not many spectacular plays early on, all of a sudden we get a flurry.
Yeah, a game broke out, and explosive plays broke out. And it started with Adrian Peterson on that short yardage run. That happens a lot, Tim. 3rd and 1, everybody's compressed up at the line of scrimmage. And if you can get a crease there, sometimes you're into the secondary and there's nobody there.
I think we saw it with the Ravens against the Cowboys, didn't we?
We saw it last week a bunch of times. We saw it with the Giants in overtime against Carolina. We saw it Saturday night with the Ravens against the Cowboys.
We saw it twice there. Here is Manning going to Hickson. And incomplete. Hickson was out of bounds at the time, covered by Griffin. So it'll be 3rd down.
You know, Dominic Hickson is taken over for Plexico Burress, the ex-receiver. And they couldn't be any more contrasting styles. Dominic Hickson is a stick. I mean, he is just a piece of wire. He's 180 pounds, 5'11", where Plexico was this huge power forward at wide receiver. He just doesn't have the same stature outside that Plexico once had for Eli.
Third down and 10. Manning flush from the pocket and trying to get the ball to Amani Toomer, short with the throw. 4th down coming up. So the Vikings do a pretty good job after Ahmad Bradshaw's kick return, and John Carney will be coming on to give the Giants some points here. So Manning now, and the Giants 0 for 4 on third down conversions. This will be a 51-yard attempt, and Carney having a huge year, 31 of 33, tied for second in the league in points. And Carney's field goal is good, and the Giants score. Right now the Vikings in front 10-3. Peterson's 67-yard run, the only touchdown, and Carney's 51-yard field goal, his first from 50 in 2 years. He'll be kicking off, and Maurice Hicks is back deep for Minnesota. Short kick to the 3-yard line, and Hicks down the far sideline, and a good return by Maurice Hicks will bring it out just short of the 40. We'll see where they spot it. Danny Ware making the tackle. And coming up next, Cowboys and Eagles, and Dallas can clinch a playoff berth with a win in Philadelphia. First down on the Viking 42. Tavares to throw on first down, and Wade is overthrown. Second down and 10, play action for Tavares Jackson on the run, and he overthrows Shanko, and the closest player was Kevin Dockery for the Giants. Let's check in again with Laura.
Thanks, Dick. An injury update for you. Michael Matthews, it is a sprained ankle. He is going to be getting taped right now, coming back onto the field, and he is going to try to play.
Baldy, when they say stay healthy, what does that really mean?
Well, you know, anybody that plays this game, and there's a 100% injury rate. Everybody gets hurt at some point, some for longer than others. So you can't protect players. And if you're going to play this game, you're going to get hurt. In the final game of the season against the Patriots last year, the Giants lost 3 starters in this game. They got him back for the Super Bowl, but they lost Sean O'Hara and Kawika Mitchell in that game. It's going to happen.
Third down and 10. Pressure coming in, and Jackson just dumps it off, and it's going to be ruled incomplete. And it was Brian Keel, the rookie from Brigham Young, stormed in.
Well, here's Keel. I mean, he's going to come on a delay here, and it's going to come free. The Giants, or the Vikings, were sliding to the right. He came behind the slide, behind Steve Hutchinson. It's a couple times today where Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, has schemed a player to come free against the Viking protection.
They've done a good job there. A loss of 8 yards, the second sack of the game. So Chris Cluey will kick it away, and R.W. McQuarters back deep for the Giants. McQuarters looking to run this back from the 11. And nowhere to go, and down he goes at the 16-yard line, and a flag is down. Penalty marker down.
James Butler is the gunner for the Giants going down the right sideline. He ended up in the middle of the Vikings sideline, and all their players. Be interesting to see who they flag on the play.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Receiving team number 37. Half distance to the goal, first down.
And that was James Butler right here.
Well, there's Butler, and he's driving him. I don't know if he even knew where he was. His head was buried right into the chest on that play of Frampton.
Number 61 is an eligible receiver. 61 eligible.
Well, this time Adam Coates does report as an eligible player. The ball will be at the 9. Comparison of Eli Manning and Tavares Jackson thus far. So the Giants starting from the 9. Giants, by the way, have won the last 3 games that they have played here at the Metrodome. Manning has his pass knocked in the air by Ray Edwards, incomplete. Well, the Bears are getting them back in the game.
Yeah, they've given up the big plays. Monday night, everybody watched them against the Packers find ways to win that game to stay in it.
Second down and 10. And the Vikings are all over Derek Ward, as you saw Michael Matthews come back at tight end for the Giants. No gain on the play. Jared Allen, who's a key offseason acquisition from Kansas City.
And really the guy that was supposed to put this Viking defense over the top, and he's been a huge contributor, not just from a pass rush standpoint, but this guy loves to play the run. He loves to be involved. He says that's what football is all about. Throwing your body in there, stopping the run, getting the crowd involved, cheering. I mean, this is all the emotion of the game. Now you get him in third down. Now you're in the right to go rush the quarterback.
And third and long at that. Eli back at the 1-yard line, airs it out, and Amani Toomer is there and will make the catch, and it should be a first down. A gutty throw and a catch by Toomer, 11 yards, and they move the sticks.
Well, it's a gutty throw because it's across the field from the far hash against Antoine Winfield. And it's just veteran against veteran in that situation. Amani Toomer doing a good job coming back for the ball and really toe-tapping himself in the field of play to make sure he had both feet down.
And again in postseason without Burris, they're going to really need the veteran to come up big, along with Hickson and Steve Smith. First down, and here's Ward. And Ward gets it out to the 25.
You know, the Giants have one starting running back, and that's Brandon Jacobs, because he gets everything started with power football. Derek Ward is a good running back, but he's a complimentary back. Ahmad Bradshaw, very good back. Earth, Wind, and Fire, the names they give him, but that's the guy that pounds the belly of the defense, and that's the guy that starts to hurt the defensive players and wear them down.
Great combination. Three great solid running backs and a
all
terrific offensive line. Yeah.
And a great line, and that's the combination that got him a Super Bowl and has him in position to win another.
Ward and Bradshaw are in the backfield now on second down and 5. And a good block in the backfield, and Manning's pass is going to be caught by Darcy Johnson. And Johnson, with the catch into Viking territory to the 49-yard line, gets 25 yards.
Well, here's Darcy Johnson over here. He's going to run just a corner route against the safety, Mediu Williams. And the Vikings got to say, well, wait a second. Where did Darcy Johnson come from? I don't think he caught a pass all year. And so, you know, with the injuries to Kevin Boss and Michael Matthews now back in the lineup but injured, he had to go to someone.
And how about Bradshaw with the block, upending a Viking? Ward is the tailback and gets the handoff with Hedgecock blocking, and a good block by Hedgecock. And Derek Ward getting a first down inside the Viking 40, where Darren Sharper brings him down. A gain of 10. So right now, Derek Ward is 7 yards away, Baldy, from getting 1,000 yards. Brandon Jacobs already there, and that would be the 4th tandem of running backs in NFL history to get 1,000. 2 of them in one.
Well, it's quite an accomplishment, you know, and it just says a lot about how they mix these backs in, that they've been durable, and how good of a running team they are.
First down, Eli Manning with a play fake, and up the middle to Derek Ward. Ward breaking a tackle, still on his feet, and diving for the sticks. Maybe just a tad short. He'll get 9 yards.
Derek Ward just demonstrated a lot of the skills that makes him a potential 1,000-yard back, because he's going to catch this ball as what you call a check down. Eli's going to look down the field. He doesn't like what he sees. He feels the rush collapsing. Now watch this balance here. I mean, Chad Greenway is an excellent tackler. He turned him all the way around, got his balance, and then always falls forward for more yards.
That's Ray Edwards shaken up, and while we have a moment, let's go down to the field to Laura Oakman.
Guys, most guys on pace for a milestone will tell you they're not thinking about it during a game, but not Derek Ward. He told me I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't going to be counting the yards today. He said it would mean the world to him and his best friend on the team, who is Brandon Jacobs, if they reach that 1,000 together. But he said it would mean even more to their offensive lineman, who told him today, if we have to play 18 quarters, we will get you that record. Also, guys, he told me when and if he gets it, the ball will go to them. He said easy decision. They deserve it the most.
Yeah, that's a good story, and I guess if he comes off the field, Brandon Jacobs will towel his head off as well.
It's like the pit crew over there. I mean, he's taking care of his guys, and that's really what they are. They are a tight unit. The offensive line is, along with the quarterback, they are a very cohesive group. I saw Brandon Jacobs talking to Derek Ward before the game when they were stretching. He was laying right on his belly, giving him pointers, you know, just walking him through situations, you know, be doing everything they can to be as prepared as they can for this terrific run defense.
Well, the Giants securing the #1 seed by beating Carolina on Monday night. Will be off next week. And will be at Giant Stadium in the divisional round the following weekend. 2nd down and 1 at the 29 of the Vikings. Ahmad Bradshaw now the tailback. And it's Bradshaw. 1st down. Bradshaw getting to the 26.
No, we're talking to Eli Manning last night, and we were saying about his offensive line, how cohesive they are. It's basically 4 years that they've been together. And he said, you know, we've been through it all, and we can make adjustments in a game that a lot of teams can't make. Things that we don't even practice. We have a great recall button. We can fix things on the sideline. We can tweak things. We can go to things that we haven't had in game plans for weeks if we need to. And that's been a huge advantage, and one of the reasons why he's protected and having such a good season.
And has he grown as a quarterback? I mean, he has had his problems, struggled against the Vikings the last 2 times he's played them. But Minnesota says a lot more assured this time around as they prepared for the game. The Giants will call a timeout. It'll be their first timeout of the first half. Looks like you've already done your preparation.
I've had a couple hours to kind of sneak in the film room and watch some of those great players we're going to see. Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree.
Sneak in the playroom? You live there. Ward nearly tripped up and ridden out of bounds, and a flag goes down, and let's see if we have a face mask.
Holding offense.
No.
Number 76. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
A holding penalty against Chris Snee. Where?
That's the look. That's the look right there. The open palms, like, on me. This is a unit that has not had many penalties on. I mean, Chris Snee is going to be the right guard on the play. He pulls on the play, gets the hook, and that's what they're calling on the outside against Chad Greenway.
So 1st down and 20 back at the 37. So the Giants right now out of field goal range, trying to get back in with Ahmad Bradshaw on the handoff, ducks down and breaks a couple of tackles and gets down to the 27-yard line, picking up 10. 2nd down and 10, faked an inside handoff to Bradshaw. And Eli Manning completes it to Steve Smith. And the clock stops at 2:23 with the ball now at the 15. So the Giants get 13 yards on that play.
It's good play action fake here. I mean, you put the ball in the belly of Ahmad Bradshaw here. Get everybody to bite. Now Eli gets outside the pocket because of the seal by Darcy Johnson. Now he buys himself a little time. It's a good throw on the run with Steve Smith coming back and going up against Antoine Winfield. That's a good corner to go against to get a pass.
And Baldy, of course, at the outset you said Eli Manning, and from all indications will play the first half, and David Carr the second half, and so the Giants looking to get perhaps a tying touchdown before intermission here. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Giants with a 1st down on the 14 of the Vikings, trailing by a touchdown. Derek Ward, and it's Ray Edwards shaken up just a few moments ago, and he looks like he may be hurt again, a loss of a couple.
That's Kevin Gilbride. He started off as Eli Manning's quarterback coach as a rookie, been elevated to the offensive coordinator. What I like about Kevin is he is not afraid to repeat plays. He's looking at that chart now. He gets a play that's working, he'll stay with it and call it up again and again.
So Ray Edwards is down, and this will be a timeout that the Vikings have to take, and it's their 2nd timeout, leaving them with only 1.
The Vikings are down Pat Williams, who's been out with a broken shoulder the last 2 weeks. Here comes Ray Edwards get hit right by Madison Hedgecock, and he sticks his leg out. It literally tripped Derek Ward, and that's the leg that he grabs. In the waning seconds in Houston, the Texans lead the Bears 14-10.
Once again, the scenario: Vikings win the NFC North with a win today or a Bears loss against Houston. Right now, the Vikings are in front 10-3, and Brian Robinson, number 96, has gone in to replace the injured Ray Evans up front, and the Giants, with the 12th play of their drive upcoming right here. Second down and 13. Derek Ward finds an opening off right tackle. It closes at about the 11, thanks to Ben Lieber.
Good call against everybody up at the line of scrimmage, just looking for a little crease. And Derek Ward is used to running those plays from the shotgun formation. That shotgun is when Eli Manning is behind the center, 5 yards behind it. And then he just quickly hands it into his belly, allows the defense to take the rush up and hits him with a quick hitter.
48 yards rushing for Ward. Third down and 8. And Manning firing over the head of Dominic Hickson.
That used to be Plexico Burress' play. And that's what Eli was telling us last night, that whenever he would get this situation, especially against a guy, Antoine Winfield, who's 5'9", he could just throw it up and let Plexico get it. They're going to lose that here for the rest of the season, and so he's got to be more accurate, more pinpoint with his throw to Dominic Hickson.
You're right, the favorite pattern for Burress. So John Carney will attempt a 30-yard field goal. The Giants don't get the touchdown to tie it up before intermission at this point, and so Carney will try to make it a 4-point game. And the kick is successful, so the Viking lead now is 10-6 with 1:03 remaining in the half. Once again, coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. And of course, Baldy, Brad Childress doesn't care if they don't win this game and the Bears lose and they get in. They want to get in, but every team is looking to finish on a high going into postseason.
No question about it. And you want to have some kind of momentum, some kind of good feeling. And the Giants, a good, solid team, very fundamental, very sound. You want to have a win against a team like that going into the playoffs. On the other hand, the Giants, this is the 10th team in a row that they've played with a winning record. I mean, they feel like they have been battle tested. And Antonio Pierce told us last night that losing those 2 games against the Giants and the Cowboys, maybe they were good things for us. Because then we put it together against a good team in Carolina, got a little swagger back, got some confidence back, getting ready for the postseason.
How about those 6 wins in a row that the Giants had at Pittsburgh, Dallas, at Philadelphia, Baltimore, at Arizona, and at Washington? All those teams were strong contenders at the time.
No question about it, and all different types of teams. I mean, Arizona, passing team. Baltimore, very strong defensively, good running team. Pittsburgh, best defensive team in the league. So they've seen the best of this league down the stretch here this season. And
we wonder whether we've seen the last of Eli Manning in this game. And a short kick by Carney, and it's fielded by Jim Kleinsaucer. And with exactly 1 minute remaining in the first half, veteran Jim Kleinsaucer has been around forever, it seems. The Vikings will start from the 33.
See, if I'm a Viking fan right now, and we saw a few there, I've got to be aggressive in this situation right now. I mean, you've got good field position, you have explosive players. You've got to trust your quarterback that he's going to take care of the ball, make the right reads. But I wouldn't feel comfortable with the 10-6 lead at home with the playoffs looming and a chance to win the division outright here with the win.
First down at the 33. Vikings have only 1 timeout remaining. And here's Adrian Peterson. And down he goes, and a good play by Ryan Keel right at the handoff, and a loss of a yard.
Now, the fans don't like it, but that is an explosive player in Adrian Peterson. But
timeout called by the Giants. So Adrian Peterson, of course, in the conversation for most valuable player this season.
If they win this division outright, they win today and they go to 10-6, they go to the playoffs, you have to look at what he means to this team and what he does week in, week out to help them win the division.
Chester Taylor alongside Tavares Jackson on second down and 11. Jackson with time, up the middle, complete to Bobby Wade, and Wade is down in Giant territory at the 48-yard line, picking up 20. And a timeout called by the Vikings, and that will be their third and final timeout.
Interesting talking to Tavares Jackson just yesterday, Dick, and seeing him last week in a game that we did against the Atlanta Falcons, and he said he sees the field really well. He always has. But, you know, there was so much pressure put on him to start the season. Didn't play well the first 2 games of the season. Brad Childers pulled him in favor of Gus Frerotte. And you know, Brad was looking at a team that, you know, you gotta get a win. They had to get a win against Carolina to stop, you know, the early losses to start the season.
And of course, Tavares Jackson playing the season with the immense burden of the illness of his 15-month-old son, who's had a pacemaker, second one actually put in. Slant play caught, and the first catch of the day by Sidney Rice, close to the first down, maybe a little shy, and so a heart problem has really affected Tavares Jackson. And he said, you know, I haven't received my Christmas present yet. It would be the win, but you know, a heart problem for a 15-month-old son, you know, has to be.
It'll wear on a father, you know, and the son lives in Alabama with his mom, and so they were apart, and he was concerned and worried, and on top of it was injured in the preseason, and you know, didn't get much time before the season started to really get into game shape. But I think by watching for 11 weeks when Gus took over has helped him.
3rd and 1, that red line unofficial is where the Vikings have to get, and a flag is down as Chester Taylor getting the call.
Illegal motion, offense number 18. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So a 5-yard penalty. Sidney Rice will set the Vikings back with 31 seconds and no timeouts left for Minnesota.
Well, inexcusable for Sidney Rice to be moving at the snap in that situation there where they need a yard to get a fresh set of downs. He would go up and kill it, clock it, stop the clock, and have 3 downs to move the football. Now they're in a different situation here.
Fourth down and a yard.
Giants decline the penalty, keep it at 4th down.
And there's a quarterback draw, doesn't work, and the Giants will take over on downs. Jay Alford starting at nose tackle, Justin Tuck, and a loss of 4 yards. So the Giants playing hard, and you said it at the very outset, they want to win this game and will get the ball back with under a half a minute to go.
Good decision by the Giants to decline the penalty, which would have made it 3rd and 6, give the Vikings 2 downs there. They put all the pressure on the defensive front and Justin Tuck to stop that draw play by Tavares Jackson to get the ball back.
And Baldy, they still have 1 timeout left.
Yeah.
So we'll see as the Giants trailing 10-6 in this game. Giants have managed 2 field goals by John Carney.
I think it's interesting in this game in the first half. Eli has had Dominic Hickson open twice deep. He's missed him on both occasions, and he's at the bottom against Cedric Griffin. Be a great shot to go down the field against him.
And Manning stepping up and going up the middle, and intended for Darcy Johnson off of his hand. And now 21 seconds remaining in the half.
Justin Tuck, who made that stop on 4th down, got his little groove on, his little New Year's Eve dance, and he's a guy that talked about the situation this week. You know, I mean, his body's beat up, he's tired, fatigued, short off season, wouldn't mind the rest, but would rather win this game than take this day off.
I think he's dancing, Baldy, because he won a Terry Award in our pregame show. That's why he's doing the dance. 2nd down and 10. Eli Manning has plenty of time, and the pass is caught by Hickson. So there he is, Dominic Hickson, and it stops the clock with 16 seconds to go. They get 17 yards to the Viking 40.
And what Eli likes about Dominic Hickson is he said he loves his route running. He said he gets separation. He's a little more precise in his routes than what Plexico Burress was, and he gets a little better separation at times. He's very quick, and he's got great open field speed.
He's done everything the team has asked starting camp with special teams and everything. Well liked by the Giants. Dominic Hickson, 1st down. And here is Manning. Flush from the pocket going up the middle. Steve Smith was the man he wanted. And now there are 10 seconds left.
Eli's expression, it never really changes, whether it's in a Super Bowl game or whether it's a Week 17 game on the road after they've already clinched the #1 seed in the NFC. Love to have one more shot to get down the field for John Carney to get in field goal range.
And they still have that timeout in their pocket. But the clock is a factor. Big one. 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Ball is at the 40. First down. Manning finally finds a receiver, and it is Dominic Hickson, and it'll be a first down, stopping the clock. 4 seconds to go. This reminds you of that last drive of the Super Bowl, getting close. They're at the 25.
That's how long this takes. This is about a 5-second route by Hickson. And he does a good job coming back to the ball, squeezing it and looking into his hands, and accomplishing what Eli wanted to do with a minute to go in that drive.
That's absolutely right, Baldy. John Carney will attempt his 3rd field goal, and the Giants see if they're going to review that play, and it is a booth review because it is inside 2 minutes to go in the half. Whether they have control, did Hickson have control as well as both feet in bounds?
Well, here's the route again against Cedric Griffin. This is all from upstairs, not by the referees on the field. Got the hand. Oh yeah, I think he's got that ball. It's not moving in his hands. Looks like he did a good job of just squeezing it, not allowing it to move for them to give him any reason to review it.
Looked like it did not move in his hands, but it doesn't hurt to review it on this situation.
Looks it in. And we're looking at the possession.
After review, the receiver had complete control of the football with 2 feet down. The ruling on the field stands. It is a catch. First down.
See, he just turned it over in his hands, but never lost control. So Carney is on to try a field goal.
Really, I think Hickson going out of his way to show that he has control, kind of putting it up and putting it in front of the side judge there.
17-yard play, and now Carney will try from 42 yards. Has already hit one from 51. Looking to bring the Giants to within a point. And John Carney's field goal is good, and time runs out. So 3 Carney field goals brings the Giants to within 1 point. And we're preparing for the start of the 3rd quarter with the Vikings leading the Giants by 1, 10-9. And the first half statistics, 2 good running teams. We know about the defenses, Baldy, but they both rushed pretty well.
Well, the big run, of course, was by Adrian Peterson, his longest run of the year on a short yardage situation. 3rd and 1 play, he popped one for 67 yards, and that's what most of the yards came from.
David Carr getting set to come in, as was the plan by Tom Coughlin. He has seen precious little action this year. Back deep, Ahmad Bradshaw and Danny Ware. Ryan Longwell will kick off to get this 3rd quarter underway. And a booming kick into the end zone, and the Giants will take it out at the 20-yard line. So despite the fact that the Giants are losing 10-9, they look professional out there. They look like a team that is playing this game, want to win, but they're ready for the postseason, I think.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and you got to look at what this week has been like. An emotional win on Sunday night in overtime against Carolina. You think maybe a hangover effect here. You know, all the people that said, oh, there's nothing to play for. Tom Coughlin, you say that to him, he wants to go fight you. And so I think right now, I think his team reflects that. They're playing hard. They got themselves a nice 2-minute drill at the end of the half to get themselves in field goal range. And so they're right here in the game, and it's all there for the taking with them.
David Carr, who has seen action in 2 games, rolling out, being chased by Jared Allen on first down. And Carr trips forward and gets about 7 yards as we check in with Laura Oakman.
Well, guys, with 1 half deciding whether they're in the playoffs, Brad Childress said the key right now is keep doing what they're doing defensively. They cannot allow the explosive plays. The Giants are moving the ball, but they got to make sure they keep doing what they're doing in terms of not letting them in the end zone. And I know this game doesn't mean anything for the Giants, but somebody should tell Tom Coughlin that. I got just as much intensity. He said offensively, they're moving the ball. They've got to punch it in. I asked him who will be punching it in. I got a lot of information, which means nothing. I'm learning about David Carr as you guys are when he came out here.
All right, Laura, 2nd down and 3, and here's Derek Ward, and he'll have the 1st down. I don't think the Giants want to go into postseason having lost 3 of their last 4 games, Baldy, despite the win over Carolina. So I think to say, we talked to Tom Coughlin, to mean nothing, no game ever means nothing to him.
I mean, he was very poignant. He said, look, you only get better by playing games. I mean, right now in practice, they don't practice with pads on. It's all mental reps and speed and all that kind of stuff. As Derek Ward helps this tandem go over 1,000 yards, 2,000-yard rushers for only the 4th time in NFL history.
So he got his 52 yards plus 1, 1st down. At the 32 for the Giants. Carr handing off to Ward. Ward breaking it off the right side and picks up about 5 yards. And so what does this mean for Ward to do this? In a 14-game season, Mercury Morris, Larry Zonka did it for the Dolphins. Franco Harris and Rocky Blyer for the Steelers. In a 16-game season, Kevin Mack and Ernest Biner for the Browns, and Warwick Dunn and the quarterback, Michael Vick. And now joining this parade, although they're only the 3rd running back tandem ever to do this.
It's quite an accomplishment, and it really defines who the Giants are. Just a very solid power running football team, the best in our league.
2nd down and 4. Derek Ward gets the 1st down, still on his feet, and dives into Minnesota territory. Good block by Chris Snee and a gain of 13.
Well, that's going to go put that ball in for posterity there. Derek Ward going over 1,000. Here's some more yards. Going to go right underneath the defensive end here, Brian Robinson. Just ducks right underneath him. Position to make that call, runs right through him. And we saw runs like this Sunday night against Carolina, and they just started adding up, one big run after another.
By the way, Kareem McKenzie, who did start, has been suffering from back spasms, replaced by Kevin Booth, number 77, at right tackle. Now Ahmad Bradshaw is the tailback on 1st down, and the play is blown dead. A false start.
Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
How about this?
Man, it's a brotherhood, and there's just great teamwork amongst all these guys. I don't think anybody could be happier than the offensive line, seeing 2 backs go over 1,000 yards, because that's their payoff. They don't get to celebrate, they don't get the recognition outwardly, but 2 of those guys go in the Pro Bowl. That man Sean O'Hara going along with Chris Snee, but that's their satisfaction, seeing 2 backs go over 1,000 yards for the 5th time in history.
1st down and 15 following the penalty, and here's Bradshaw on the handoff, trying to find running room, but he is upended. And Antoine Winfield coming up to make the play, gain of 1. 2nd down and 14, and here is Ward. And Ward with some acceleration picks up about a couple of yards.
One thing the Vikings have to prepare for in the 2nd half is David Carr is a guy that likes to run the football. He's a very good athlete. He's very fast. Unlike Eli, who does not want to leave the pocket, wants to get rid of the ball as quickly as he can. David Carr is not afraid to pull it down, so you have to really account for him as a runner as well as a thrower.
Baldy has appeared in 2 games, as we said, ran out the clock at St. Louis in week 2, finished up against Seattle in the 4th game, and threw a 5-yard touchdown pass. This is Oris Moss, and he's 1 for 1. Pretty good percentage. 3rd down and 8. Out of the shotgun, mass protection for Carr, and Carr on the run fires it, and the pass is ruled a catch by Darcy Johnson, who had to turn around and make it right on the sideline. Good play for 18.
Well, not bad by 2 backups. David Carr to Darcy Johnson. Did he get the foot in bounds? That may get reviewed. Brad Childress looking right at it. What a great catch by Johnson. Because that left foot looks like it all gets in bounds. Brad Childress a chance to review it, has not thrown the red flag, thinking about it. Looks like he just did.
Yes, he did, and the late report on Ray Edwards, questionable as to his return, has a knee injury.
Minnesota is challenged that the pass was incomplete. Timeout.
So the first challenge of the day, that by Brad Childress. We'll take a timeout. Back here at the Metrodome, where Brad Childress is challenging the ruling on the field.
Review, the receiver controlled the football and came down with 2 feet and his rear end inbounds. It is a catch as ruled on the field. Minnesota is charged with their first team timeout.
So it is an 18-yard gain, and the backside on the field. Turning point here.
The rear end on the field. Darcy Johnson, a nice soft landing there. And the foot's, yeah, 2 cheeks, 2 feet.
Derriere.
Yeah, derriere. I mean, you come up with a good adjective there, Dick. It's good.
We're going to bring it to an end right there, however.
I will stop right there. That's a good idea. But how about Darcy Johnson? I mean, this is a team, that wants momentum going into the playoffs, wants to win this game. And David Carr to the 3rd tight end, Darcy Johnson, with a key 3rd down conversion.
Giants have more than double the first down total that the Vikings have. They're at the 29-yard line, and Ahmad Bradshaw inside the 25. Jared Allen making the tackle, and a gain of about 5.
Watch Adam Coates over here. He's the backup offensive lineman, now playing tight end because of the injuries that they sustained. Nice block here on Brian Robinson. He seals him. David Deal comes around. Cyber comes around. And Ahmad Bradshaw has a pretty good crease for 5 yards.
9th play of the drive as Coates comes out of the game. 2nd down and 4, play action. And Carr throws it out of bounds, intended for Amani Toomer. So that will bring up 3rd down for the Giants. Minnesota Vikings, and there you see, limping off the field is Cedric Griffin for the Vikings, starting cornerback. Keep in mind that the Texans are beating the Bears right now, and if the Bears lose the game, the Vikings would clinch the division title regardless of what they do here. Benny Sapp has replaced Cedric Griffin at cornerback. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for the Giants on the 23 of the Vikings. And now a timeout called by David Carr. Back at the Metrodome following a Giant timeout. Giants have a 3rd down and 4 on the 23 of the Vikings, and Cedric Griffin, and my partner said I think he has a cramp, and you're right, he came back after 1 play. So Griffin is back at cornerback. 3rd down and 4. And the last score, of course, we told you the Texans lead cut to 21-17 over the Bears. David Carr in relief of Eli Manning, and going deep for Hickson. He's got it. Touchdown, Giants. Dominic Hickson on the receiving end, and the Giants score their first touchdown of the game, a 23-yard strike from David Carr.
Boy, what a great throw by Carr, but even a better route by Hickson. There's Antoine Winfield going to try to press Hickson, never gets his hands off him. That's the quickness of Hickson to be able to escape Antoine Winfield, not allow him to get his hands on him or slow him down, and really just skate right by him.
How great is Carr? 2 touchdown passes, and he's seen brief action in 3 games. Where they've been hiding him.
Well, they have a guy named Manning in front of him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, forgot that. Hickson with his 2nd touchdown catch, the extra point by Carney, and the Giants lead. And Adrian Peterson anxious to get back to work, and we have 9:29 to go in the 3rd quarter. And there is the scoring drive, 10 plays, 80 yards, and Ward getting 30 yards on the drive, going over 1,000 for the season, and Hickson with the catch from Carr. So Maurice Hicks is back, and John Carney, 21st year for John Carney, and a low line drive kick, and a big hop for Hicks. Good return by Maurice Hicks as he brings it out to the 38-yard line, and there is Adrian Peterson. All he needed was 1 explosion today, Baldy.
Well, that's what you get with a guy like that. I mean, the Giants bottle him up, they bang him, they stop him, they stuff him, and then he splits them. And that's really been what's happened to the Giants defense over the last few weeks, is they've given up that big explosive run. Spags calls it the pop, and that's what has been the Viking offense so far today, that 1 big run.
Spags short for Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator. It's a mouthful, but he is for opposing offenses. And they close the line to the Giants. They hand off to Peterson. So the Giants handle the run well. A loss of 1. Kevin Dockery coming up from cornerback. Adrian Peterson today has gained 77 yards on 10 carries, and the 67-yard touchdown, the big part of that. Second down and 11. Running up the middle against Tavares Jackson, and the pass is caught by Bobby Wade. The reliable receiver Bobby Wade out of the slot. And a first down to the Giant 41, picking up 21.
He's off over here on the slot. Just going to get really right into the open zone. They were dropping the defensive end there, Justin Tuck, in a zone pressure type situation. He got behind it. Tavares Jackson, excellent job of reading it, seeing it, and then delivering.
And you mentioned coming into this game since taking over for Gus Frerotte, 7 touchdowns and no interceptions in his second time as the starter. And this pass is caught by Hahi, and Hahi is down at the 39. He'll only get 2.
Well, this was a play-action pass designed to get the ball to Bernard Berry. He gets behind Corey Webster. As soon as the receiver throws his hand up like that, but really Tavares never looked down the field, but he had a shot. And when they want to take a shot, when they get a chance for a shot, that's the guy they go to.
Second down and 8 for the Vikings. They're on the Giants 39. Once again, the Giants crowding the line, and now Pierce moves back. It's a handoff to Peterson, and the hole closes in a hurry thanks to Danny Clark after a gain of 3.
There's so much speculation on the part of what Tom Coughlin would do today and how he was going to play the game. I mean, this is the Giants starters out there. It's Justin Tuck, it's Kiwanuka, it's Antonio Pierce calling the defense right now. I mean, he believes that you only get better by playing the games, and they're out there playing it, you know, and trying to win it.
Reminiscent of last year, of course, when they went in there, different circumstances, frankly. They were the 5th seed, and they gave the Patriots all they could handle in the final regular season game and then beat them in the Super Bowl. Only one way to play if you play for Tom Coughlin. Third down and 5. Let's see what Tavares Jackson does. Has time and nearly picked off by Webster on the pass intended for Sidney Rice.
Well, Webster had a chance there for a pick-6, interception, and a touchdown to follow it. Great coverage on the play, and Tavares Jackson really never saw him. Otherwise, he would not have thrown this pass. See, Webster's got Sidney Rice across the field, reads it. Now he's going to undercut it. That ball went right through his mitts.
So 4th down, and Chris Cluey will be kicking. R.W. McQuarter standing at the 10. Trying to keep the ball in the field of play, and the ball bounces at the 5, and is it downed, or was the man in the end zone? They're going to rule it a touchback. You can't have any part of your body in the end zone. If the Bears were to lose the game, the Vikings would wrap up the NFC North title, regardless of what they do here. But that's a back and forth game as they're close to going into the 4th quarter.
Take a look at this last punt here. That ball was down there. Abdul did a good job there, but then David Herron comes in inexcusably. Just a stupid play on his part for a touchback, allowing the Giants to start this drive at their 20.
David Carr handing off to Ahmad Bradshaw, knocked back, and will lose on the play, and finishing it up. Brian Robinson started, and it was Napoleon Harris to finish, a 3-yard loss. So this is the way it's gone today for Eli Manning. Was 11 of 19, and David Carr 2 for 3, and the touchdown pass, 23 yards to Dominic Hickson, to give them their first lead of the game.
And they're playing smart football, the Giants are. They haven't turned the ball over. And that's really, I mean, if you're the Vikings defense right now, that's what you got to think about. You got a backup quarterback in there, has not taken a lot of snaps. You know, hasn't worked with the center very much. This is where you got to get your opportunities here on the defensive side.
Second down and 13, and Carr will take off and slide at the 26. And you just said playing with a new center. Well, Gray Rugemer has replaced Sean O'Hara. So the veteran who's headed for his first Pro Bowl now on the sidelines to get some rest.
Well, you know, Eli Manning, not many opportunities to watch his own offense on the sideline, but you know, the Mannings are royalty in the NFL. Him and his brother, the only quarterbacks in this league to take their teams to the playoffs 4 years in a row. And Eli, by the way, in favor of his brother Peyton winning the MVP this season.
Third down and 5. Sonoris Moss to the top of your screen. as the Giants line up with 3 wide receivers for Carr. Here come the Vikings. Carr gets hit and hit hard by a host of Vikings. Amani Toomer is the receiver, and Carr never had a chance.
Well, another hit like this to David Carr, we may see Eli Manning back in the game. Kevin Williams just unloading on him. The Pro Bowl defensive tackle unblocked on the play. Legal hit, knocked him down as he was throwing it, all within 1-step motion. Not many guys can survive too many hits like that in the game.
Jeff Fiegels will be kicking. Bernard Berrien back deep. Low snap from center, but Fiegels gets off the kick and it'll go out of bounds. By the way, if you're wondering if anything happens to David Carr, the Giants have Jeff Fiegels and R.W. McQuarters. McQuarters handled the scout team for the Giants. They would have to be emergency quarterbacks if something happens to Carr and Manning doesn't come back in.
They've got to go to a division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to give it everything they've got. They need some help as well. If they beat the Cowboys, they would need Tampa to lose and some other things to happen to qualify.
Adrian Peterson now going back in motion and getting the handoff. Peterson slicing off the right side, and hanging on is Danny Clark, but a 7-yard gain for Peterson as we approach 4.5 to play in the third.
Well, certainly Adrian Peterson is the focus of this offense, but I believe if the Vikings are going to win this game, they're going to need some plays from Tavares Jackson. And he hasn't had many opportunities to get the ball down the field, but he is a good deep ball thrower. He's got a big arm. He's got a fleet of receivers, including Bernard Berrien, that can get behind any defense in this league. And I think they have to start taking a chance.
2nd down and 3, and the running play to Adrian Peterson. And looks like he'll be stopped short of the 1st down by a yard. Brian Keel along with Antonio Pearson on the play. By the way, Darren Sharper, who has almost had a late career against Eli Manning, has left the field and will try to get a report.
Well, you talk about a career. I mean, in the 2 games where the Vikings have come to New York in 2005 and 2007, I mean, they intercepted Eli Manning 8 times. 4 of those by Darren Sharper. 1 of them returned for a touchdown.
3rd down and 1, and here is Tahi close to the 1st down. And maybe Darren Sharper feels if Manning isn't going to play, why should I be out there?
Well, he's had his number. There's no question about it.
Vikings signaling 1st down. We'll see where Naufahu Tahi carried the ball.
The yellow line is unofficial, so they'll bring the chains out and give it a measure.
Minnesota Vikings seek their first division title since 2000 and their first playoff appearance in 4 years. They can do it with a win here, or if the Texans go on and beat the Bears, they're leading them right now, and a 1st down for the Vikings. Brad Childress was 6-10 in his first year, 8-8 last year. And if he can win this game and go 10-6, he's even Steven after 3 seasons.
Well, that's true, Dick. But last year they were 8-6 with a home game against Washington that could have qualified for the playoffs. Lost that game, lost to Denver at the end to finish 8-8.
On 1st down, Tavares Jackson stepping up and unleashes it, and it's caught by Bobby Wade. And Dockery knocks him out of bounds. And Dockery is limping a bit back there at the 10-yard line. A huge gain of 41 yards, the biggest pass play of the contest for Minnesota.
Well, I said that Tavares Jackson has a big arm and has the ability to go down the field. That's zone coverage by Dockery, starting today for Kevin Ross, and so, or Aaron Ross, and they got behind him, lost track of Bobby Wade. So I'm not sure you should do anytime you're facing the team's leading receiver.
1st down on the 15 for the Vikings, threatening here in the latter stages of this 3rd quarter. Adrian Peterson with a burst getting inside the Giant 10. Clark and Kiwanuka combined to bring him down about 6 yards.
You know, anytime you're a run-based offense the way they are with the Vikings, your quarterback is not going to get as many opportunities if you're just a pass-based offense where you're a gunslinger and get to throw it 40 times a game. So those throws that you make, you have to make them count. The one to Wade certainly gets them in position here where they are.
Well, Baldy, Wade has 98 yards on 4 catches. Peterson 94 yards rushing. And the pitch going to Peterson. And still on his feet diving, and he'll get the first down. Does not get out of bounds. And it appears that Adrian Peterson with a hard-earned first down for the Vikings.
All right, this is the spin. This is the spin here. He's going to spin once here. Boom, runs into his own man Ryan Cook. Now he's going to spin again here. Stay alive. That's a 720. That's 2 full spins to get down and get to out of bounds.
And the Giant player is down. Peterson now with 99 yards on 16 carries. And we'll check to see who the injured Giant is.
That's Sam Madison here getting caught in a wash.
Yeah, that's it.
Boy, spins out of the tackle, the last tackle by James Butler, the quarterback of their secondary. So Madison, you know, the old man of the secondary back there, the elder statesman.
12-year veteran. And it is Madison shaken up. So a stoppage of play on the field.
That's the price you pay in this league. You've got to have backups that are ready to play, and that's what they have right now.
Terrell Thomas, the rookie from USC, has replaced Madison, first and goal from the 4. And here is Peterson hit behind the line of scrimmage. And the Giants are right there, and it was Kenny Phillips, the rookie, and a 2-yard setback for Peterson.
Good play in the middle by Fred Robbins as well. He's going to get the early penetration here, beats the guard. Kenny Phillips comes and finishes. That's a name that you're going to hear a lot about in the future is Kenny Phillips, their #1 pick from Miami. One of the most fundamental defensive backs I've seen come into this league in a long time.
But you're right, it was Robbins that slowed him up, and Phillips cleaned it up. So second and goal, back now to the 6. Jackson will throw it into the end zone, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by James Butler. Butler down the far sideline and knocked out of bounds by Tavares Jackson. So the Giants, who had not forced a turnover in the last 3 games, get a big one right here and snuff out the Vikings' threat here. There's a flag down, however.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, passing team number 7, late hit out of bounds, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Part frustration, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, just compounds the initial mistake. Going to throw the ball on the backside here. Never sees James Butler in the middle of the field. Thought he had the easy post. To Bernard Berry and did not. James Butler, who I just mentioned is the quarterback of the secondary, stepped right in front and picked this one off.
So for Butler, his 3rd interception of the year, tying him with Aaron Ross and Corey Webster. And the first turnover of the game, a big one. The Giants on the Viking 40 after the 47-yard play. Carr drills it, and open is Sonoris Moss. And a first down inside the 25 as Madison leaves the game. Carr hitting Sonoris Moss for 17 yards. And the Giants have really put a lid on this crowd's enthusiasm.
Well, you know, it's no question about it. I mean, the huge play in the end zone, turn around, backup quarterback in, backup receiver Sonoris Moss, and they stick him on the first play on a nice little slant route.
From the 24, here is Ahmad Bradshaw. Escapes a possible loss and picks up a yard or so. And a penalty flag down now. The game was won. Terry McCauley, today's referee.
A lot of explanation on this flag.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty, first down.
David Deal, the reliable left tackle
And I almost hate to even mention his name on the illegal block there, because David Deal has sailed the last 2 years at left tackle almost under the radar, unnoticed, but he has been the biggest part of this offensive line. The question they had going into last season, who would play left tackle? He's played it and played every snap there over the last 2 years.
And obviously disagreeing with the call is Tom Coughlin, and they'll place the ball back on the 34-yard line. Giants with a 6-point lead over the Vikings beginning the fourth quarter. Dick Stockton, Brian Baldinger, and Laura Oakman. First and 20 following the illegal block in the back. And David Carr, running almost right into a Viking defender, escapes him momentarily and finally is put down by Kevin Williams after a pickup of a 1. There's the story. Only 1 turnover, but the Vikings were threatening to possibly regain the lead, Baldy, but Butler's interception took care of that.
No question about it. I mean, it came at a bad time, almost a kick in the stomach to the Vikings, to their offense, to the crowd right now. It's up to the defense right now to make a play, get the crowd back in it, and stifle this drive by the Giants.
Madison, by the way, went into the locker room for lower leg x-rays. Here at second down and 19 from the 33, and a low pass to Bradshaw from Carr. Not much Carr can do with that, and he's at the 35.
It's interesting, Dick, if you look at where Antoine Winfield is now after giving up the touchdown pass to Dominic Hickson, these corners now have fear.
You called it.
Yeah, and then here's Cedric Griffin. He's backing off. You just have to get stung one time on a key play, and all of a sudden you think it could happen again.
I guess that's why teams go deep on the first play of the game, even if it's incomplete.
It's always a good strategy. Get those guys in the heel, get them thinking it could happen all day long.
Third down and 21. So that's Winfield. Steve Smith in at wide receiver, and Carr going up the middle, and it's caught by Sonoris Moss inside the 10. So Sonoris Moss, who's celebrating his 25th birthday today, grabs this for 27 yards, and it's first and goal.
What a throw by David Carr. This is what you call just pulling the cord. He let that ball rip. That looked like a throw that might have earned a guy 7 years ago the first pick in the NFL draft when he was with the Houston Texans. Now, that was a good throw. And this kid has learned a lot from the system, from Eli Manning, and he said he's enjoyed himself even though he hasn't played. Showing some good skill today.
Pitch to Bradshaw, who was hit by Winfield immediately, and his father-in-law, by the way, David Carr, is a Bear fan. So
yes.
David Carr doing what he can do for his father-in-law and his Chicago loyalty.
Sticking it to the father-in-law. Might have happened a few times during the holidays here when families get together.
Sure. 16-10 the score. Here are the Giant team leaders. Vikings had a 10-0 lead. 3 Carney field goals cut it to 1, and then David Carr, in relief of Eli Manning, hit Dominic Hickson with a touchdown pass to give the Giants the lead. But the Giants threatening again on second down and goal, and here's the pass, and it is caught by Steve Smith. Tough catch in a crowd inside the 5 down to about the 3.
It was a tough catch because it was on his back shoulder as he was getting lit up. Ended up on his backside. But they had spread the field, 5 wide receivers here. Here's Steve Smith going to come right in the middle against Chad Greenway.
Third down and goal. Ball is at the 2. And here's Carr with a fade and attempting to get it to Toomer. And covered well, not that the pass was on the mark, by Winfield, bringing up fourth down, and the Giants will send their field goal team on.
That was a bad throw or a bad timing with the route. But nonetheless, the Giants here with a golden opportunity to go up 2 scores. And David Carr, after the interception by James Butler, does a good job of getting Carney down here in position for his 4th field goal today.
It'll be a 20-yard attempt by Carney, whose long one today was 51 yards. And the kick by Carney is true, and the Giants now lead by 9. Welcome back to Minneapolis and happy holidays to all of you. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Good season's greetings as Butler's interception, and the Giants capitalized by getting 3 points on Carney's 4th field goal of the game. Now he'll be kicking off to Maurice Hicks. Short kick, and Jim Kleinsaucer on the receiving end, and he'll bring it out to the 34-yard line. Well, Justin Tuck, of course, who leads the Giants in sacks on the sideline right now. Cause for alarm, Baldy?
No, that's just precautionary. He came in with a sore knee, just resting him here. And one thing Tom Coughlin said was, we got to be smart today. And Justin Tuck has given them 3 solid quarters of football today. They got the Vikings here, held them to, a low point total, 10 points at this point. Good day by Justin Tuck, but get him out, get the treatment started here, and get him ready for the playoffs.
Ronaldo Wynn taking his place on a first down at the 34 of the Vikings. Tavares Jackson. Pass is caught by Bernard Berrien. It'll be a first down to the 46. Interesting to see how he reacts from throwing the pick the last time the Vikings had the ball.
Right, if he wants to be a good playoff quarterback and get this team in a position here, win the division, the whole thing, he's got to bounce back from it. And, you only learn by playing. And so he's got to flush that. It was a bad play. It was a kick in the stomach. There's plenty of time to come back and get 2 scores here to have a chance to win this game.
Pickup of 12. Chester Taylor is in the backfield for Minnesota. Plenty of time left here in the 4th quarter. And the play blown dead. We'll have a false start call.
False start, offense, number 19. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Again, a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, it's just those are the kind of things that why Brad Childress doesn't have much hair on the top of his head. He scratched it all away in his 3rd year here.
Is that what happened?
Well, could have contributed. No, but the one guy who's been quiet in this offense today, Dick, has been Visanthe Shenko. That's been Tavares Jackson's go-to guy in the last 2 weeks.
Well, you know what happens, a career game, and the Giants said we can't let this guy beat us.
Well, they've done a good job of shutting him down today.
First down and 15. Here is Jackson with the quick toss to Kleinsaucer. And Kleinsaucer gets it back to the 46. Terrell Thomas making the tackle. So Tavares Jackson, that one interception cost the Vikings 3 points ultimately. Adrian Peterson 3 yards away from another 100-yard game, and Bobby Wade already a career high with 98 yards catching.
Well, there's a lot of stats there, but they have 10 points on the board. So you have to give credit to the Giants defense, how well they're playing. A lot of backups in there right now, but they're not playing like backups.
Second down and 10 from the 46. And going deep and wide open is Berrien. Bernard Berrien will score for the Vikings. How's that for a reaction after the interception by Tavares Jackson?
Well, the defender fell down. On the outside, you're going to take a look by Terrell Thomas, the rookie, who fell on that hip turn, and give credit to Tavares Jackson for recognizing it and then throwing it to their big play receiver, Bernard Berrien, who leads the National Football League with over 20 yards a catch.
But he came back aggressively.
Yes, he did, and they had to. And that's, that's the part of the Tavares Jackson's game that doesn't get enough attention, and they don't use it enough.
Ryan Longwell with the extra point. His 7th touchdown catch of the year by Berrien. So the Vikings in a hurry go 3 plays and 66 yards. And Berrien, who caught only 1 pass to that 4th quarter point, has 2 catches, including the big score.
Well, when they want the big play, that's where they've looked throughout the season. They got him against the rookie, Terrell Thomas, who fell down, and they made him pay for it.
Longwell will kick off to Ahmad Bradshaw. Bears trailing the Texans 21-17. Ahmad Bradshaw returning for the Giants. And out to the 20. Bears have been trailing in Houston. But the Vikings want to take care of business here. See what they do defensively against David Carr. Darren Sharper is back in. at safety is Bradshaw going outside, and Greenway slows him up. And a couple extra yards after that. And they're going to give him 9 yards on that play. Eli Manning playing the first half. Ward going over 1,000 to join Jacobs. Hickson 4 catches and a touchdown. Jackson with a touchdown moments ago. Peterson on the brink of a 100 yards, and Wade a career game for him. 2nd down and 1 on the Giant 34. Giants leading by 2. And on the slant, pass is caught by Mario Manningham, the rookie from Michigan, who has gone in now for Amani Toomer, as the Giants giving their veterans a breather. And there you see the latest in the 4th quarter. With about 5.5 to go in Houston, the Texans lead the Bears by a touchdown.
Amazing just around the league, you know, just in this NFC North, how close it all is and what it's coming down to. Final minutes, the 4th quarter, trying to establish playoff seeding, playoff teams, how close this whole thing is.
First down at the 45-yard line, and the handoff is to Bradshaw, and Bradshaw getting to midfield. And I don't think there's any question that, of course, if the Bears lose, the Vikings are in. But you know that Brad Childress, especially after last week, wants to get into next week's game with a win here.
You don't want to back in. I mean, yeah, you would get to 9 wins, you would win the NFC North, but it's a hollow feeling. Nobody would be celebrating in that Viking locker room. That's not the way you want to get ready for the wild card weekend next weekend, because right now the Giants are playing backups in there. They have a chance right here to stuff them, but I mean, David Carr's played well, backup offensive linemen, receivers. This is an extremely well-coached Giants team, just an exhibition here in the second half.
They're going to be proud of the way that they have played as Manningham. And a first down to the 40-yard line. They've got to be proud, Baldy, of what they have done. You know, playing their players, really. They're giving some of the veterans who need it a rest right now. But, you know, to go with Eli Manning for 1 half, and Carr really has been tremendous in the second half.
Well, I was just looking at highlights. I saw Ben Roethlisberger playing today after they sewed up the second seed. He was injured today. It's a chance you play, but Tom Coughlin believes you get better by playing, and their backups all getting good time in here in case they need them in the postseason.
Danny Ware is in at running back, and he gets the call here, and a good run by Ware as he gets close to the first down. How many running backs, productive running backs, do the Giants have?
Well, we're finding out about another one in Danny Ware. Certainly, I mean, if it's earth, wind, and fire, how do you finish that particular group with this? This is a good lead by Madison Hedgecock. Gets the kick out block. And just attacking that right side right now.
And keep in mind that Gray Rugemer has replaced Sean O'Hara. Adam Coates is in for Chris Snee. Kevin Booth for Kareem McKenzie. So the right side of the line, including the center, have been replaced. Giants haven't missed a step. 2nd down and 1. And Danny Ware with a first down inside the 25-yard line. And this, you talk about well coached, and they have been since the start today, even when they were trailing by a point at halftime, but they're showing their depth.
Well, I mean, you got to go back to Jerry Reese and what he's done building this team, taking over for Ernie Accorsi with the drafts they've had in the last 2 seasons. They have continued to stockpile talent on this team, and it's an exhibition right now.
How about this? Leading the NFL, giving up 73 yards a rush, 144 on the ground for the Giants today. First down, and Carr handing off to Ahmad Bradshaw, who's dragged down for a loss by Fred Evans. And the real damper right here is that the report, we mentioned that Sam Madison was going in for an x-ray on his ankle, has a broken ankle. So critical injury for the Giants backup. And now we saw Matthews, the tight end, limp off the field. Under 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Darcy Johnson replaces Matthews. Giants trying to finish 13-3 on the year. Here's Bradshaw on the handoff, but the Vikings come up, and Bradshaw is tackled by Chad Greenway. No gain on the play, bringing up 3rd down and long.
Well, good play here by Chad Greenway. Going to come up here and get the penetration. Plays off the block very well. Very active player, but this is a key third down for the Giants. They don't want to lose any yards here and put John Carney in a position to kick any further in this. Yet the Vikings defense knows it's a chance to get to David Carr and create a big play.
Ninth play. Carr gets away and has no choice, ducks down at the 30, so the Vikings put the clamps on thanks to Greenway and Ellis Wims, the backup defensive tackle. Loss of 2 on the second sack.
Well, you know, they do a good job of just chasing and keeping David Carr in that cup, not allowing him to escape, which he's very good at doing. A little conversation with Kevin Gilbride about what he was looking at, but forcing another John Carney field goal.
And it's going to be a long one. Carney is 4 for 4 today. This will be a 48-yarder. At field goals from 51, 42, 30, and 20. From 48 yards, John Carney, and this kick is no good. We're back here in Minnesota, and the Giants leading the Vikings 19-17. Tavares Jackson trying to lead the Vikings to a come-from-behind win here. Ziggy Wilf, a longtime Giant fan, going back to their days at Yankee Stadium.
He was so nervous today, growing up a Giant fan and trying to get to the playoffs, knowing he'd have to beat the team that he cheered for his entire youth to get there.
First down at the 38 for Tavares Jackson. Bounces out of trouble and slings it to Berrien. Flag is down, and Berrien makes the catch at the 45. So Terry McCauley will unravel the penalty here.
Holding defense number 57. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Chase Blackburn. th week, the final regular season weekend. Drew Brees over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Michael Turner, what a year he's had. And Andre Johnson, 2 touchdowns against the Bears. And there is the handoff to Adrian Peterson. And Peterson held for no gain. That interception by Butler set up ultimately a Giant field goal, and that's been their margin right now. Second down and 11, and the pass is caught by Tahi, and the Viking fullback does not get out of bounds, and he's at the 45. They only have a couple. It'll be third down and long coming up for Minnesota.
Well, they're in 2-down territory here, so you have to think that way when you're calling the plays. If you have to go short and check it down, you are going to be going for it on 4th down in this situation. So that's something to keep in mind when Tavares takes this snap.
And gets it off before the 2-minute warning, and the pass caught in Giant territory by Berrien. And we'll have the 2-minute warning right here. It'll be first down for the Vikings. We've had the 2-minute warning, and for the record, the Giants have all backups in the game. Dave Tollefson, Jerome McDougal, and Jeremy Clark and Jay Alford up front. Alford did start the game, but the Vikings trying to win the game against the Giant backups, and boy, they have played hard no matter who they've had in there all day. Here's Peterson going outside, cutting upfield, and getting inside the 40-yard line. Each team, by the way, 2 timeouts remaining.
No matter what happens here, Dick, no matter what happens, I mean, the Giants came here to play to win the game, and all backups in there now. No matter how this finishes, Tom Coughlin is going to feel as good as you can if they should lose the game by how hard they've played and coming here to do what they wanted to do.
No question about it. They had no real reason playoff-wise to be worried about this game, and they have played very hard. And here is Peterson for a couple of yards. By the way, Adrian Peterson has gone over 100 yards for the 10th time this season, and will have a timeout called by the Vikings. So let's take a look at the #1 seed when we've gotten to week 17. The previous 4 #1 seeds have lost, but the Giants are holding on right here. Want to thank some people who were part of our broadcast team, production and technical all year. Game produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director today is Neil Gallo. The broadcast associate Mark Schaefer. Technical producer Bob Mueller. The technical director is Rick Tugman. The tape supervisor Michael Nathanson. The audio supervisor Pat Lucatorto. The studio was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The associate director in the studio Stephanie Medina. The highlight coordinator Janice Kazaza. The studio technical supervisor Jack Simmons. Supervisor of remote field operations Jerry Steinberg. The senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Thanks to Rick Odioso, Gareth Hughes, Chris Visser for their work in addition. Vikings 1 timeout left. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Tavares Jackson completes it to Vasante Shanko. Only his 2nd catch of the game, but it gets the Vikings a 1st down at around the 30.
Look at the emotion of Tavares Jackson on that play. It kind of says it all. He knows he's now in field goal position. Nice touch on the ball to what has quickly become one of his better targets in Shanko.
And by the way, the second game of our doubleheader, the Cowboys and the Eagles will be seen in the New York area. Under a minute to go, 1st down, and here's Adrian Peterson. And Peterson knocked back, and it's Terrell Thomas. But with a huge lead by the Houston Texans, the Bears headed for defeat, it appears right now. And the crowd may be aware of that fact.
Well, a lot of confusion here because they lost yards in the play. They need to gain some yards in this play with the clock really ticking down. Now they burn a timeout. They may not have time to even run a play.
9 seconds remain, and the Vikings have used their last timeout, and that wasn't a pretty piece of game management right there.
Well, that was horrible. That was the waste of over 20 seconds by Brad Childress, the play caller, where after Adrian Peterson lost 3 yards, they may not have a chance here but to put their Ryan Longwell out there to go kick the game winner, potential game winner.
Right now, it would be about a 50-yard field goal for Longwell after the loss. And you're right, a tough spot to put his career long is 55, by the way. Tough spot to put him in here.
Well, it is, because now if you take a shot with Tavares Jackson, you have to, and they're not even going to take a chance. I mean, Tavares Jackson could throw the ball to the sidelines, maybe gain a few yards, but if he's tackled in bounds, the game is over and you lose.
No timeouts left. So here is Ryan Longwell, who is 5 for 5 from 50 yards or beyond this season. Will try to win it for the Vikings with 9 seconds left. Officially, it'll be a 51-yard attempt. Giants leading the Vikings by 2. And remember, the Giants have 2 timeouts left, and they're going to use 1 right now. So even in a game like this, Tom Coughlin will freeze the kicker.
Yes, well, you know, you coach it to win it. So you do what you think you need to do to give yourself every advantage. But what a week for the Giants. I mean, it's a holiday week. It's overtime to beat Carolina last week. He probably needs a week, you know, just because he's so drained and getting ready for the playoffs.
Coming up next, the big one, the Cowboys and the Eagles in Philadelphia. The Cowboys control their own destiny. A victory for them will clinch a playoff berth. And right now, the Bears are trailing 31-17 with a minute and a half to go in Houston. And right now, Tavares Jackson has gone on the field, and Longwell has come out.
We're going to try and catch the Giants in a quick switch here and get a quick play in.
Look at the scramble going on in the Giant defense. Players coming on, and they haven't blown the ball ready for play. Giants still have 1 timeout left. Here is Tavares Jackson, throws it away with 5 seconds left.
Well, Brad Childers tried to sneak a play in there with the Giants field goal block team out there. And really, it wasn't a bad idea. It was just horribly executed. I mean, you went to the near sideline. The ball was thrown so far out of bounds, you never had a chance.
And the Giants still have one timeout left. And this will be a 50-yard field goal. Vikings trying to win it here. And the Giants will use their third and final timeout. So Ryan Longwell frozen twice in the last 10 seconds of this game. Giants out of timeouts. What a way to finish the regular season.
And what a season it's been, because there have been nail biters like this throughout the year. But for Brad Childers, who desperately wanted to beat this Giant team and win without ever allowing that Chicago-Houston score to be posted inside the building, win it, and feel good about themselves getting to the wild card next weekend.
Well, this is where we're at. If Longwell makes the field goal, this place will erupt.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter what happens in Houston. But if he doesn't make the field goal and the Giants end up winning the game, they're just going to have to hold their breath for another minute and a half with a big lead for the Texans. So here it is. Can't stop the clock anymore. It'll be a 50-yard field goal. And here is Ryan Longwell's kick to try to win it for the Vikings. And the kick is good. The Vikings have won it and clinched the division championship. Final score 20-19 over the Giants.